On this episode of Hands on Cars, Kevin repairs the seats, installs new headlights, and starts the engine for the first time.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin Tates, and thanks for watching Hands on Cars. Obviously, there's been an enormous amount of work done on Project Zed Sled, so we wanted to catch you up on the progress. So check out what we've been able to accomplish in a very short amount of time and regale in the rubber-nosed disco glory of Project Zed Sled. With the subframe in and most of the body panels installed, me and my buddy Jeff Gallagher mated the engine to the 4L80 transmission that we got from Moltz Used Auto Parts in New Jersey and set it into the subframe for the last time. This transmission is a salvage yard takeout that Moltz tests to make sure it works in every gear before shipping, and we got it at a bargain of $600 plus having it shipped to our door. After replacing the old tail shaft seal, then we measured for the driveshaft according to the diagrams on the Denny's Driveshaft website. Thanks to an accurate measuring tape and Diagram B off their website, the fine work of Denny's Driveshafts provided us with a new hybrid driveshaft that mates our 4L80E transmission to the upgraded 10-bolt rear axle, providing the missing link that'll connect the hopefully awesome power of our 6-liter engine to the rear tires. Dante from Dante's Glass Service swung by to drop in the brand new windshield as well as the used rear glass that we got through my buddy Randy Jones for a sweet deal. The side glass, well, we'll get that from National Parts Depot a little later on. Our exhaust comes from Hooker and is their bolt-in 2.5-inch stainless system that connects to the coated long tube headers. We're using Heat Shield Products DIY muffler shield kits to isolate the exhaust temperature from the bottom of the car so we don't cook ourselves on the autocross courses. It fits over the axle assembly and all the way out back. It comes with all the hardware and hangers you need to install it and should sound great. Now, it's not just a modern engine we're installing into Zed Sled. Eastwood's new Tri-Flow Radiator fits in almost exactly the same place as the original and solves the needs of our LS engine. Maintaining the steam ports on an LS is a critical part of this swap, and the Tri-Flow Radiator solves this by providing a port to plumb the steam port crossover right into the front of the radiator. This keeps our engine cool and running efficiently. We outfitted our Tri-Flow radiator with the Durali cooling fan and shroud option. And by the way, the upper radiator hose is an off-the-shelf unit from a 5.3 powered 2500 series pickup truck. And a giant shout out to Mark Robideau for creating a spacer in order to plumb our lower radiator hose to the stock water pump. Thanks, Mark. So when it comes to interior, we wanted to make sure that the interior looks as good as the outside does. So we thought, well, what the heck? We can just reupholster these, maybe even use the original seat foam because they don't look that bad from the outside until we started to tear them apart. But when we started to pull this upholstery apart, it was amazing. The variety of wildlife and the unique and individual ecosystem that we found buried in these seats was ridiculous. It was bizarre. There was worms and maggots and slugs and bugs and all manner of spiders, and we think we killed a couple black widows, and I'm not kidding about that down in Tennessee. We get them here. It was very evident to us that this stuff was absolutely, oh, there's another bug, was absolutely unsalvageable. So thought, what the heck, we'll scrap the foam, we'll scrap the covers, and we'll just refurbish the seat frames and move on. Now, we knew ahead of time that because of the stupid 80s sunroof that had been there for Lord knows how long, that the seat tracks were toast. The ends were rusted off. They couldn't be bolted down, and they're literally rusted shut. That's what happens. These things become titanic artifacts because of the corrosion damage. So we thought we'd just clean up the seat frames and be done with it, move on, rock and roll. Until we looked at the seat frames. Oh my, look at this. This is, no, I am not sitting in this. Never mind the bugs and guts and rust. This is all that you've got to brace yourself in a driver position. And when they're this rusty, you can literally pull things apart. There's no support. Safety factor alone, forget about it. The problem is, these seat frames are unavailable in the aftermarket. So thanks, Zed Sled. What are we going to do now? Well, fortunately, we got the WeberNet and a great solution and some good friends that kicked in. Check these out. Now, we found a guy locally that was parting out a couple of 78 and 79 Trans Ams. So since they're the same, we nabbed the seat tracks for both front seats, passenger side and driver's side. But for the seats themselves and seat frames, we leaned on Moltz Used Auto Parts up in New Jersey. Now, Moltz has several of the F-Body second-gen Camaros, and more importantly, our year. 75 through 1981 are practically the same car. They had some great seats, and although the upholstery is shot, the frames themselves, well, they're definitely usable. We can refurbish them. For upholstery, you're not going to believe what we got coming for upholstery. It's awesome. But before we reupholster these seats, we've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And there's no real mystery to this. Unclip the hog rings, pull it apart, and you're good to go. But I am not taking any chances based on what we found in the other seat. I am prepared. Got some alternative lifestyle pliers. Rock and roll. Sharp ones would help. All right, all we're after is taking the scaly rust off the top, and you can do it with the manual wire brush, but why do that when you got Eastwood power tools? If it was just a little bit of surface rust on the outside, well, we'd be good to go for the next step. However, there's enough rust in these channels here to where I'm kind of stressing it. So we're going to do a little bit better since these are not available in the aftermarket yet. I'm going to clean them up in the blast cabinet. Now, we didn't blast this down to pure white metal, and the reason is we didn't really have to. We just had to clean the scaly rust off, and we did a nice job inside this channel where I was stressed and worried about. The reason we didn't have to get it down to pure metal is because we're using Eastwood's Rust Encapsulator, which is designed to work in conjunction with a slightly rusty surface. We've got it cleaned off, wiped down, and this stuff will bond with the rust, starve the oxygen, stop the rust, and look pretty darn nice doing it. And it's a simple process. You can spray it on, roll it on, or brush it on. So we're going to brush it on. Surprise. The bottom seat is probably the easiest. Set it in place, hog ring it in, slips into the bottom, and I'll show you how to do that. Let's talk about hog rings. Hog rings are simple. It's a nail sharpened on each end that gets set into a pair of pliers. After more hog ringing, smoothing, heating, and cussing, we got our driver's seat done. And then we turned the rest of the work over to Leonard at 360 Custom Upholstery in Spring Hill, Tennessee, who did a great job of finishing the rest of the seats. We were under a time crunch. And reinstalled into the car, the TMI interior looks fantastic. Now, as much as I don't want to think about it like this, Zed Sled is actually an antique. As a matter of fact, Zed Sled was born about the same time as the first Star Wars movie was in movie theaters. That's 35 plus years. And as technology changes, so does automotive technology, as well as lighting. Now, we could go with these original seal beam lights, but why would we? They've been around since the 1930s, and there's stuff that's way better, it's safer, and it looks way cooler. Check this out. There's a company called Redline LumTronix, who are the innovators of modern-style halo headlights for vintage or classic vehicles, motorcycles, cars, hot rods. And we've got Tony Giametta here to tell us about his awesome product. Tell us what you've brought for Project Zed Sled.
What I've brought here is our multicolor halo headlights. And what we also did here was our black illusion headlight. It looks like it's blacked out when it's off, so it'll go really well with Zed Sled. So when people look at it, they'll see this, the headlight will blend well with the car. And with this multicolor halo, now you can pick a color that matches or contrasts the color of your car.
Fantastic.
With just a simple remote control.
Show me the money.
Okay. This is when
That's
the halos
awesome.
come on. Can you imagine some colors with the Zed Sled, like maybe a red?
Yeah, we're talking red, yes.
Yeah, and one of the things too is we can change the intensity. So you can kind of dial in the color that you want.
So what I love about this is that it's not just an accent, it's not just a showpiece. This is actually a daytime running light, and it's a added safety feature too.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You can't go down the road red. You go down the road white. You get to a parking lot for your cruise in. Then you put it on the color that you want to match it with. Let's go with green. And then you slowly back in your car and watch the crowds come around your car wanting to know, where'd you get these terrific headlights?
It's fantastic, and we've got the same style plug as the typical original headlight.
Yes.
Explain this to me.
So if you want to go with a pink color, now I'm not sure Zed Sled would be good for pink, but maybe more of an orange color would be a good color, since that's part of the color scheme.
And so this is just an indicator of what's going on outside.
That's the indicator.
And so I can tell what color lights I'm running. Like
Inside.
you said, you can't go down the road with it red. That's a safety issue,
Right.
and that's a DOT issue. So
Yes.
now we can monitor ourselves and not by mistake get a ticket.
Right.
I love it. And one of the great things about LED, and I know a little bit about this, is that it takes almost no current compared to a tungsten bulb or a seal beam bulb. So you're not going to run your battery down by keeping your halos on in the show, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's-
Actually, I had a customer call me. They had left it on by accident in their garage and hadn't been in the garage for several days,
Yeah.
because it's one of those car guys that just
Yeah.
parked the car.
Yeah.
Well, he went back later and said, gosh, my halos had been on for 5 days and I had no idea, and it didn't run down the battery.
These are fantastic, Tony, and thank you so much for bringing these, and they're going to look so great on Zed Sled. But I was looking around on the Webernet for an LED conversion kit for the taillights for this car, and nobody has it. I couldn't find it until I talked to you on the phone. Talk to me about these
Right.
taillights.
Well, what you have here is a company that we've aligned with. We make LED headlights, and we kept getting a lot of phone calls from people wanting taillights. So we aligned ourselves with a company called Digi-Tails that has great products and great service like ours.
LED lights on a modern vehicle are striking. They come up and they hit you in the face, and it's a wonderful safety feature. One of the things with LED lights that I like is it's instant on. There's no pulsating. It either works or it doesn't, so you don't have this faulty ground. It's like on the old Mustangs where one taillight was dimmer than the other one. Not going to happen with LED, is it?
It's not. It's not. It's all in or nothing.
Yeah. The cool thing about, National Parts Depot has all of these replacement parts. They've got, we don't have to try and fix that anymore. I had to do that.
Yeah.
We could do new lenses. These are great refraction. They've got the, what did you call these?
The parabolics.
Parabolics in them, in case you do want to go with the incandescent bulb or the seal bulbs. I've refurbished these with a little bit of Eastwood paint.
Right.
How does this system go into here?
Well, what you're going to actually do is you're going to actually put these in right into the socket places where it's going to go, and then you've got these wires here, and it comes with a complete instruction set.
Yep.
So, and it has these little micro connectors, that actually connect to the back side.
Connect to the back, simple plug and play.
Simple plug and play.
Yep. So it couldn't be any easier. And these attach the lights to the inside of the lenses. And Bob's your uncle. We've got LED lights in the back of Zed Sled.
Correct. That's correct.
Probably about the same amount of time that it's going to take to do the original system, we can have something like this. This is great. This is fantastic.
And here's another thing I want to bring up about Digi-Tails. They not only make a light that comes on, they also have sequential lights. So what you're going to see with this system is that, you remember how the old Cougar had the lights, the sequential lights? Weren't those cool back in the day?
Yeah, but did you ever see the electronics to those things?
Yes, I did.
What a mess, man. It's these servos and switches,
they turned them on, yes. Well, this is going to be a sequential light. You are getting the first one ever made of a sequential light that's going to fit in that Camaro.
This is
so on the back side, you're pulling up to a stop sign, right? And the guy behind you is going to know where you're going because it's going to go give a sequential light.
And this is the first kit for any late second-gen Camaro.
That's correct.
Oh,
yes.
dude.
It was released this year. It's going to be a great product.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much for helping with this. I can't wait to stand on the rooftops and shout it out to the world about Redline, LumTronix, and Digi-Tails, and it's going to look great on the car. So maybe we can wire some stuff up and see how it looks. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Cool.
Hands on Cars is brought to you by the Eastwood Company. When you're restoring a car, truck, or motorcycle, Eastwood has everything you need to do the job right. Eastwood, since 1978.
Now, I've been a painter for a long time, a lot of years, and I've done my fair share of custom painting. So why did we apply vinyl graphics to the side of Zed Sled? A couple of different things. That's kind of the way they did it from the factory. It was a bunch of stickers, so paying homage to the way the factory did it, yeah, that makes sense. But also, if we ever want to change this car, change directions, call it something else, well, now we can just peel the decals off. The second is the time investment that it takes to put paint on a car. Yeah, I'm a custom painter. I've done my share of custom stuff. The time investment alone is hours and hours and hours, and I want to drive this thing way more than I wanted to paint it. So we decided decals on it. Steve Longacre did the graphic. We applied the decals in a couple of hours on both sides, and we're ready to rock. And at about $155 to have the stickers printed up, that ain't bad, man. That's affordable pro touring. Okay, moment of truth is fast approaching. Johnny B's here with the computer. He's going to load a basic tune into the Holly Dominator. TC's got the wiring harness all buttoned up. We're ready for key on voltage. The fuel system is plumbed. Everything's ready to go. I'm nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, but we're going to see what happens. What we're doing now is just unplugging the coil pack so it can spin freely. Make sure it goes around in a circle at the bottom.
I just don't want to dump fuel.
Without starting off and damaging something. It's in stages. Everything's in stages. And safety first. We don't want to
well, if we're just
launch the
cranking it,
engine.
can we just... You think that's enough?
You just trying to get oil up in it?
Yeah, I'd love to have oil pressure since we changed that pump and stuff out. We didn't put an oil pressure sensor in it, did we?
No.
Well, the sensor's in, but the gauges aren't wired or in there yet.
Let's just disconnect from right there.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they can still arc in the vapors from doing that.
Yeah.
You can find a way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fire and a
There it is.
First try. You heard it. Anybody?
That's it.
Anybody hear that first try?
That was it.
I'm just saying. I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Oh, makes me want to do this. Oh. Wow. Okay, it runs. We got to check oil pressure. We got to check a bunch of things. Make sure all the sensors are reading right. But it lights off. The computer sees everything else. This is it, man. This is a wonderful moment. Zed Sled. Yeah. It just sounds good, man. The engine's tight. There's no rattles, there's no clicks, there's no bangs, there's no pops. And thanks to the Holley EFI Dominator system, it's still in self-learning mode, so it's actually tuning itself the more we drive it. But that's going to change. Our buddies down at DVR High Performance. I love it. One last thing I finally got a chance to do is to black out the center of the hood with Eastwood's matte finish flat clear coat. And it looks great. It was very easy to do right over top of the original Boulevard black base and clear coat. So huge thank you to everybody at Bay One Customs. Nobody builds a car alone, or at least not many people build a car alone. I certainly don't, so I'm so lucky to have those guys helping me out every chance that they possibly can. Next step for Zed Sled, we're going to see what kind of power it makes, and then we're going to see how it drives, and we'll see if it in fact will do a burnout. I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching Hands on Cars. Keep on watching. It's going to get good.
On the next episode of Hands on Cars, Kevin debuts the Zed Sled at the Holley LS Fest in Bowling Green, Kentucky.